Hey everyone, Thermal Mike, and we're back here with another episode talking about our TT RGB PLUS ecosystem. And today we're going to be demonstrating how to set up and configure our Plus family products from Thermaltake. Fans. Now with the Ring Plus fans, we offer a variety of sizes in 120, 140, and now 200 millimeter sizes. Now with the Ring Plus packs that include the controller and accessories, you'll get this digital controller that will be included with the Ring Plus packs. And then with this you have 5 ports that are on the controller that have a 9-pin connection. You have a power connection on this side that will go to Molex. And then on the other side you'll have your data cable, which will require one 2.0 header connection off of your motherboard, and then a daisy chain cable as well that will allow you to link up multiple controllers to one single system. And then there's a dip switch on here to be able to configure which controller is going to be controller 1, 2, 3, and so on. So that's the digital controller. This will be our power cable that will be included, that will plug into the controller itself and then go to your Molex connection on your power supply. Then we'll have our data cable. Now this is a 2.0 header that will go directly to your motherboard, so make sure you got a free port available. And then you'll get 2 micro USB cables that can go to 2 separate controllers, or you can just use one and use the provided daisy chain cable that comes included with all this to be able to link up multiple control boxes as well. Now with this I have a controller that I've set up. This controller's basically already plugged into my system and I just haven't applied the power or connected my fans. So to do so I'm going to connect up my fans, and I'm going to just take this and plug it into port number 1. I'm going to go ahead and plug this one into port number 2. And then my last one will plug into port number 3 for a very straightforward configuration. Once I have my fans plugged in and I have this all set up, I will go ahead and I will now apply my power. So as I go ahead and I plug in my power connection, you'll see that my fans will spin up and light up already to the profile that I already preset ahead of time on my system. They will default to a rainbow configuration, and then of course with the software we can go in and configure it. So let's jump now to the software and see what it has to offer. Okay, for the software side of the Ring Plus fans, we're going to need to download our software. To do so, we're going to go to thermaltakeusa.com and then we'll click on our cooler section. Here with the cooler section I have a variety of options. I'm going to select case fans and then just click on the compatible fan that you've purchased so that way you can get your software. For example, I'm going to click on our Ring Plus 14 5-pack, and then as I scroll down to the page I'll see download Ring Plus RGB software here. Clicking on this will allow us to download the software so we can configure our fans. Now I've already downloaded and installed the software. This is our TT RGB PLUS software, and I'm currently using version 1.1.7. This software, once installed, allows me to configure a variety of products, and we'll be talking specifically about the Ring Plus fans. Now as you saw earlier, I connected my 3 fans to ports 1, 2, and 3 as shown here in the modules. But on the first look, when you have your system connected and I'm not populating ports 4 and 5, I'm going to get a warning message that's going to pop up. Now this warning message is basically telling me that ports 4 and 5 are not being detected. Clicking this green circle will then turn to a red dash and it will disable that port, telling the software that it no longer needs to worry about those ports. Now with each of my fans, I have all 3 fans set up here. And these fans are running at a variety of different settings and colors. I have fan 1 red, 2 is green, and 3 is blue. I can select and set these all independently, or if I would like them to be the same, I can cycle through the options of the light mode to copy color, and then what this will do is it will just match all of the other modules to what module number 1 is showing, which is currently red. And then I can change this on the fly in real time at a click of a button. I also have the ability to change the speed and function of the fan, where I can enable or disable PWM function, or be able to go into a performance or silent mode preset configuration, or be able to set the value myself independently. Now this is great, being able to set certain fans in my case to certain performance levels as far as where they're needed. And then once I have my variables set up here for my fan speeds and color, I just need to click Save in the upper right hand corner. Now don't forget, you have 5 different profiles here to choose from, so at a click of a button I can easily change my lighting mode as well as my fan speed performance very conveniently with our top 5 profiles. Now this is the Ring Plus fans. Different options are available for color modes as well as the lighting speed. And then you also have the option to set a specific absolute color and then be able to default the fans or just be able to turn them off if I want. Now when I have these in a copy color, turning off just this one will turn off all 3 unless I have this fan set to its own mode where I can turn off the individual fans as needed. You know, if I want to have a setup for like a movie time on profile 3 or I want a game mode on profile 2, it's up to you on what you want to do and how you want to set it up. Power. Now with their new power features included in our iRGB power supplies, I have the ability to control our addressable LED fan that's built in to our power supply, as you can see here, and then be able to connect it up because it's a digital power supply with our USB cable that plugs directly into the power supply and then the 2.0 header that will be required off of the motherboard. So if you're going to be using any of our Plus family products with a digital power supply, 2 USB 2.0 headers are required, so keep that in mind. Now with the power supply and the software itself, I have everything set up here on the software. I've gone ahead and I've downloaded and installed our DPSG Windows app, and this is what it looks like. And here is where I can go ahead and I can independently set up the colors on my power supply as I want to see, you know, built into this app. But there's even more with the TT RGB PLUS app. Now that I have my Plus fan set up, I can go into the options here and select Sync DPSG. By clicking this to turn it on, as I go back you can see it's now blue, meaning it's selected on. You'll notice that my power supply is now synced with my fans and is now the purple color. As I go back over here to module 1 where it's purple, I can switch it to blue and green, red, yellow, and more with the other color options, and you can see everything changes across the board in real time. Closed loop cooling. I have here our Flow 360 AIO, and you guys know how to set up the 3 fans already as we showed previously before, but with the Flow there is the LED pump as well. Now this to connect has the same kind of connection that the fans do that is going to be plugging into our digital controller. Now for this one, since I have my fans on 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug in our pump header here into port number 4 so that way I can have access to the LEDs on the pump itself. Once I go ahead and I plug in port number 4, I can see that my pump light will start lighting up here, and then we're going to move forward with the software to show you how to set it up. The Flow 360 has been connected into my digital controller, and this is what it's going to look like in the beginning here with the software. What this is going to do is it's going to come up with a warning because at the moment I have port number 4 plugged in, but I haven't set it up. So I'll go ahead and I'll click OK. Once I click OK, you'll see I have ring fans for 1, 2, and 3. So we'll go ahead and we'll click on the black box to cycle the carousel around. You'll see here that I have a warning on number 4 because it's referenced as Ring Plus. Clicking the blue drop down, I will then go and select Flow Ring RGB, which will then change number 4, which is where I have the pump LED plugged into, to the Flow RGB module. Now this will then link up here with everything and be able to set the different LEDs, because this only has 6 LEDs compared to the 12, but you still get the option to synchronize it up even though the LED quantities are different. So with this I have it on copy color. I have the ability to change the light modes independently or keep it all the same, but it is important to note that right out of the box when you get the software installed, you do need to click this drop down and select the appropriate product to let the software know what's connected to what port. DIY Liquid Cooling Plus. Now we get to the fun part as far as doing a custom open loop scenario. With this we have our W4 Plus. Now this is our CPU water block. It has an addressable LED ring that goes around it, and it has a cable that comes off of the actual block itself. There's even a nice short little convenient cable for this so I can route this on my motherboard and get this basically up and around or around in the area where I can connect up my link cable. And I like how this is a two-part connection, and it's got a nice solid connector that locks in once it's connected up into the cable itself. Now this is our VGTX transparent water block that has a built-in plus, and this is a PCB LED strip along the bottom here of the block, and it gives great illumination across the block itself. And then being able to either team this up with an LED strip, we have our Lumi Plus. Now this is a nice accessory. These are addressable strips that have a magnetic back as well as adhesive on them. And the thing I like about them the most is that you can get the addressable lighting to go from end to end when linking up multiple cables. Now out of the box with the Lumi Plus, you'll get 3 separate wires to connect up each of the 3 separate strips, or as I have configured here, I have all 3 of them daisy chained together off of one independent cable that's going to my controller. Now I also have our PR22 D5 Plus, but with this one we've modified the top part so it has that same short cable like the W4 that gives you a nice 2-part cable so you can get proper routing. I've even found this very convenient to route through my fan cables and then just kind of tie them all up, and it looks nice in unison across the board. And as you can see here on the underside, you have your LEDs that are all separated from this. They do not touch the coolant itself, as the way it is threaded and sealed on here. Now once I have this stuff plugged in, any of these can plug in to the same port except for the Lumi Plus. We recommend for the Lumi Plus when you're using it to not connect it to port number 1 because it is treated more like an accessory, and for the best results we recommend plugging it into any of the ports except for number 1. And especially with the strips, make sure you use the controller that comes with the LED strips, because the way this is designed and set up, for the way it does the chaining and everything, the controller for the Lumi Plus is ideal for that. So let's go ahead and jump over to the software and get it set up. DIY liquid cooling software. Now that I have our products connected up to our digital controller, you'll see that I have our VGA Plus, which is our VGTX water block, our W4 water block, our Lumi Plus strips, and then back here I have our PR22 D5 Plus pump. Now with that on the controller, I only plugged in 4 things, so I've disabled port number 5 just so it's out of my way. And then going back over here to number 1 and 2 and 3 and so on, I have the option to be able to select the particular product. Now if you see that it will default on the Ring Plus when you first boot it up, you're going to get this warning like you saw before, clicking OK, and then being able to click on the blue drop down and then going here to select VGA Plus. Now if you don't really know which is which, you put all the time and effort into the cables and you're not really sure that this one's a W4 and this one's this. One thing that I can mention too as a little tip or trick is that I'll go into say like W4 Plus for example, even though I know this is the GPU block, and I'll click on the color and I'll see that even though it's not the specific one, clicking on the color will give me confirmation of what this is, and then I can easily go down here and then select VGA Plus, and boom, I got it all set up. Same thing with all the other ones, especially like the Lumi strips. When you don't know where what's at and how it's plugged in, this is a quick and easy way to know what you have without having to number stuff or set everything up, and then be able to get each thing assigned appropriately so we can go forward with getting our color mode set up. So let's go back to say controller number 1. Now with controller number 1, it was all set to its own separate thing. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and sync it all up. So we got copy color across the board for number 1 on controller number 1. Now as you'll see, all the fans were all separate individual colors. And then with this being just a fully lighted mode on red, let's go ahead and actually change this. Okay, sound mode, real quick. With the audio source not being plugged in, meaning I don't have a headset or speaker plugged in, I'm going to get this message on the sound mode. There are 3 separate sound modes that are in here, and as long as you have your audio device plugged in, this should not show up, and you should be able to basically get no lights at all until media is played back. And it gives you a lot of particular options with it. So I just wanted to call out the sound mode specifically because of that message, because I know some people have asked me, we have this message, what's going on? Sometimes you need to make sure your sound card drivers are installed, or just how you have your speaker configuration plugged in. Now I'm going to put this on wave mode. I have the colors here set to red. I'll go ahead and I'll click on them to make it green. And then everything being set to copy color. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to click save. Once I click save, everything was different. Everything's all on profile 1, and now you can see everything is switched over to green. So you have the ability to be able to set stuff independently or set everything together. And then if you want to add even more, these little guys are actually clickable to turn them off. So when they're big, that means they're on, and when they're small, that means they're off. So as I had them all big, I picked my green color, and then I'll go and I'll pick a purple color for the ones that are still activated. And then as with this being set up this way, I'll just go here and click save. And then once I have clicked save, everything's gonna switch over, including my power supply, as long as I have the sync DPSG on. So don't forget about that. Sometimes that might be turned off. Don't worry, power supply just needs to resync and everything will be set back up. And then we can go ahead and we can speed up our animation here to get a little bit quicker of a look and get anything else in between. I also want to mention, as we started the video on controller number 1 with just my Ring Plus fans, it saves the settings here for the RPM. So you can set these independently with or without PWM, depending on what you do. I personally like to set my own profile. And of course with this software, stay tuned for more, as we're going to be doing continuous updates on this, adding even more stuff for you guys down the road. So keep making sure you check back out our website for any updated software, as it might add in some new modes or some other features that you guys really might like. One thing I do want to mention too is with the color. There's a button here called color. Now if I want a specific color, giving an R, G, and B spectrum, or if I really want to just make sure that when I click on red, I'm getting red, I'll click on color, and as you notice, as I clicked on the wheel, I got 255, so I'm maxed out on red, but I still got some blue in here. Let me go back and save this so you guys can see. So you can see that the red color is kind of pink still. So if I go into color and I take blue and set this to 0 and click OK, and then I'll go and click save, you'll notice that what's going to happen is it's going to all sync back up to the true red. So everything is the exact same color red, because I know there are people out there that want to have something very specific, or they want to make sure that everything is the same across the board. And that's what the TT RGB Plus software has to offer for you guys. TT RGB Plus on your mobile phone. Downloading the app is convenient and easy through either iOS or your Google Home Store. And then once I have my app loaded up, I see I have a couple of products here in the office because we're all attached to the same Wi-Fi. But I do know that my particular system is the desktop MV49 BLS. Then I have my home page here for the Ring Plus. You'll see up here that I have the ability to turn on and off different components on the individual controller. I have a menu option here where I can turn on the controllers or disable the controllers and profiles. So we'll have all the controllers turned on. We'll turn on all of our ports. And then of course down here we'll turn on all of our LEDs because we want to do something unique with all of them. So for example, if I select this to green, once the phone information passes over to my system, everything should update to green. Go to blue. It has a little bit of a delay, but it's not too much. Results will vary, of course, depending on how close or far you are from the system, but it is pretty quick and fast for the most part. Now down at the bottom, I can slide over to different modes that I have, including our voice mode. And one of the things that we're promoting here about our mobile software is to be able to sync it all and hello TT. And then right there with a voice activation, I can set up a custom mode on my phone. It's something that's unique that you won't get on anything else. And we have a variety of different voice modes that are available that just give a nice little over-the-top add-on for your artificial intelligence AI type of setup is what we're going for with this. And it's really convenient and easy. And on top of that, you get these really neat little modes that you can't really get anywhere else. I hope you guys have enjoyed our overview here of our TT RGB Plus ecosystem, covering both the hardware and software side for all of our Plus family products. And if you want to learn more, visit our new website at ttrgbplus.thermaltake.com for more information. We got all the lighting modes and everything, so you can go in there and take a look at everything that we have to offer for our TT RGB Plus ecosystem. So until next time, I'm Thermal Mike, and we'll see you in the next video.